Welcome everybody. So today let me start with carboxylic acids and derivatives. By the way, I'm Shravani, working as assistant professor in chemistry at Tara Government College, Sangareddy. So as a part of video lessons, today we are going to start with the organic chemistry, and it is a topic in third paper as per the current syllabus. So in organic chemistry, carboxylic acids play important role, and they are the highest oxidized functional groups. Okay, so along with carboxylic acids, we are going to learn about their derivatives also. Okay, no problem. We will see the derivatives. What are derivatives actually? Before that, we will go for what are carboxylic acids. So here, look at the contents. In the contents, we are going to see the introduction and then importance and classification and nomenclature. Introduction, basically it is mainly how a carboxylic acid functional group looks like, and what are the main properties, just simple properties, and the importance of carboxylic acid lies in their role in our life, or as well as their application. And also then we will see the types of classification, and finally the nomenclature for today's class. Okay, so introduction. Here if you see carboxylic acids, they contain the functional group of COOH. So COOH is the functional group in carboxylic acids. If you see here R, it indicates the hydrocarbon part, and the CO, which is carbonyl CO. So CO is directly, the carbon of carbonyl group is directly attached to the carbon of hydrocarbon, and this carbonyl group is also extended with a hydroxyl group, which is OH. Okay, so here it completes CO and OH. So this together is called as a carboxylic acid functional group. So we can say that the carboxylic acid functional group consists of, basically, considering our knowledge till now, so it consists of two types of functional group. One is carbonyl and the other one is hydroxyl. But don't assume that it will have only separately carbonyl functional group properties and hydroxyl functional group properties. Yes, though they have these properties, but the combination of these two functional groups give them a new genuine type of properties of COOH, which is a carboxylic acid properties. That's why when we go for the chemical properties of carboxylic acid, we will be learning of three types. One is for the CO group, and the other one is COOH group, and also for the OH group. So I can say that the carboxylic acids contain two types of functional group. One is CO and OH. So both give COOH, which are different from the properties of carbonyl as well as the properties of hydroxyl. Why the carboxylic name is given for this functional group? Generally, yeah, it is having CO as well as OH. Therefore, it has to have a combination of these two names. CO is called as a carbonyl group and OH is called as a hydroxyl. So, taking carb from this carbonyl and oxyl from this hydroxyl. So, carbonyl, just take the carb, and hydroxyl, just take the oxyl. So, therefore, carbo and oxyl. So, both will give carboxyl. So, therefore, you will have a carboxylic acid functional group. So, as I said, it will give you the properties of CO and OH, and altogether a new property of this combination, which is the property of COOH, that is carboxylic acid. Then we will see the importance of these carboxylic acids. Where do we learn this carboxylic acid in our daily life? Where do you find? Can you remember? Have you ever used vinegar, or have you ever used citric acid, or have you ever thought of why some of the compounds give some aroma, and how the foods are preserved? So the answer lies here. So there are many cases or many examples that we can take where the carboxylic acids act as a wide applicators in our daily life. Here I am trying to give a glimpse of the importance of carboxylic acid just in few points. So they are spread in nature in many ways. They are in leaves and they are in life, they are in life cells, and also they are part of metabolic cycles. Krebs cycle. I hope you all know the Krebs cycle, and it is regarding this glucose and everything. So here in Krebs cycle also this carboxylic acid play important role. And next, in food industry, when you go for the food industry, carboxylic acids have very high applications. They are used in bringing out the taste and enhancing the taste, of course, and giving an aroma to the samples, and also giving a bright colors, and they are acting as preservatives. So therefore, in food industry, they have very high and wide range of applications which enhances the taste and give the aroma, improve the color, and preservatives. So preservatives, I know that is they will keep the food stable so that it doesn't undergo spoilage. And of course, in markets when we go to buy something, we'll definitely look at color, and then we'll go for aroma also. How does it smell? If it is very awkward smell, do we buy? No. So aroma is very important when you go for marketing. And also taste. We prefer taste rather than anything. So therefore, in food industry, these all mark a very high importance, and these are entrenched by this carboxylic acids. Well, let us not go in detail. And the most common examples that we can relate carboxylic acids to our life is, as I said, have you ever tasted citrus acid? Yeah. So citrus acid, can you remember where does it come? I hope all of you must have drunk this lemonade, or you must have drunk this orange juice, pineapple juice, all these things. So citrus acids are mainly the contents of the citrus fruits such as lemon, orange, and many other, and even apples. Do you think why some apples taste sour? Have you ever felt it? Yes, apples do have this and carboxylic acid which gives them some sour taste. And similarly grapes also, some grapes are very sweet and some grapes are little bitter and so. And also the most famous diet, broccoli. So in fruits and vegetables we see carboxylic acids, and they are part of our life. Of course, we generally eat these citrus fruits, and we say apple keeps doctor away, and so maybe due to this carboxylic acid composition, I don't know. And then next, coming to the importance is they are the intermediates of degradation pathways. What are degradation pathways? So in our metabolic pathways, we know that amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. So these proteins will make you some DNA and all these things, and enzymes are also made up of these protein blocks. So when enzymes are consumed, these will be involved in metabolic activities. So, and of course, when amino acids break up, they will give you carboxylic acid as an intermediate, and also fats. They do also. Our body contains fat, and when we want to burn our fat, the fats at one stage will convert into this intermediates of carboxylic acid. Similarly, amino acids and also carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, the best example, sugar. We do have many sugar molecules and many carbohydrate molecules in our body. So these are the main source of energy, we say. So carbohydrates, they provide energy. So during this carbohydrates conversion to give energy, they will definitely have to undergo some reactions which will give this carboxylic acids as intermediates. So therefore we can say that all these main contents of our body metabolites, they face this intermediate stage of carboxylic acid at some or the other stage. This gives the biological importance of carboxylic acid in keeping the life activity. So coming to the next point, classification. So carboxylic acids. So in order to study this wide range of carboxylic acids, we can have the classification to make it simpler. So therefore, carboxylic acid, there are many types of classification, and for the best I tried to give the classification based on two types. So there is a hierarchy. Of course, some say based it will be of three types of classification, and you can take any number of classifications. So for simplicity here, I have classified the carboxylic acids into two types. One is based on the hydrocarbon group. You remember the general name of carboxylic acid is given by RCOOH, where R is the hydrocarbon group. And next one is based on the number of COOH groups present in the function, this molecule. So therefore, if you take RCOOH, so based on the R part, you have one type of classification, and based on the COOH part, you have the other type of classification. So it's easy to remember. One is just write the RCOOH group, which is the general formula of this carboxylic acid. So based on the R group, one type, and based on the COOH, other type. So R group, a hydrocarbon group, how they will be different. So with all your knowledge till now, since you are in the third paper dealing, so we can say the hydrocarbon group can be aromatic as well as aliphatic. So if the COOH group is attached to a hydrocarbon which is aromatic in nature, we can say it is aromatic carboxylic acid. And similarly, if the COOH carboxylic acid functional group is attached to a hydrocarbon R, where this hydrocarbon R is aliphatic group, then we say it is aliphatic. So since R can have two types of classifications, which is aromatic and aliphatic, these hydrocarbons with R group can be further classified into two types. So carboxylic acids first classified based on R hydrocarbon, and still they are classified into aromatic and aliphatic. And again there is a question, aliphatic, how can you say aliphatic? Aliphatic, when we remember or when we reconcile, we say that there are saturated and unsaturated. What do you mean by saturation? Yes, saturation means all the valencies are satisfied around carbon by single bonds, sigma bonds I can say. And if you say unsaturated, that means the valency or the four bonds are not truly sigma bonds. There is some unsaturation. That means they are having some pi bonds also. So therefore, aliphatic hydrocarbon chain, it could be either saturated hydrocarbon chain or it could be unsaturated hydrocarbon chain. Therefore, we can say that carboxylic acids, when classified based on the hydrocarbon group, they are first aromatic or it could be aliphatic. And again aliphatic are classified as saturated and unsaturated. So this is regarding this R group classification. Let us go for the next type of classification. So we will anyway see these types of classification in detail just in the next slide. So when we go for the second type of classification based on the number of COOH groups present. So as I said, if you write the functional group RCOOH, which is the general form of carboxylic acids, where R denotes the hydrocarbon and COOH denotes the functional group. So based on the R, we have seen the classification as aromatic and aliphatic, further aliphatic as saturated and unsaturated. And how does this COOH give the classification? So does it mean that COOH should be only one in the molecule? No, it is not that rule. So based on the number of COOH groups present in this molecule or attached to the carbon of hydrocarbon. So you can just classify the carboxylic acid into three types: monocarboxylic, dicarboxylic and tricarboxylic. Some say there is a fourth type of classification which is polycarboxylic, and it is not that important for our point of view. So for our classification we can consider up to tricarboxylic acid, which indicates mono is 1 and di is 2 and tri is 3. So three types of classification based on the number of COOH. That means if the molecule contains one carboxylic COOH group, then it is mono. If it contains two, then it is dicarboxylic. If the number of COOH groups in the total molecule are 3, then it is taken as a tricarboxylic. So let us see all these classifications with a brief definition and broad examples in next few moments. So first type of classification, as I said, based on R group. So R is the hydrocarbon chain in the general formula of carboxylic acid. So when R, which is attached to the main functional group COOH, the hydrocarbon R could be aromatic or it could be aliphatic. So when this is called an aromatic carboxylic acid. So aromatic carboxylic acid, when it is called an aromatic, when this R group is something like benzene or any other aromatic ring structure. So when the COOH is attached to the carbon in the benzene ring, COOH is directly bonded to the carbon of benzene ring, then we can say that it is a aromatic carboxylic acid. So is only benzene aromatic in all our molecules of organic chemistry? No. There are many examples which are aromatic. For example, you can have the cyclopentadienyl anion, that is aromatic. And also we have heterocompounds which is like pyridine. So there are many others also. So here for simplicity I have taken the examples with benzene ring. So if the COOH group is attached to a carbon containing benzene or benzene-like molecules, then they are called as aromatic carboxylic acid. So here you can see some examples. So COOH and benzene ring. So there is a direct bond between this carboxylic CO and the carbon of benzene ring, and the name of this is benzoic acid. So definitely we will come across this compound many times. This is of very important in our carboxylic acids. And next example is, it's just an upgradation of benzoic acid. You can see here, this is without COOH, this is benzene and has a substituent of CH3. We call it as a toluene, and when this toluene molecule is having a direct bond with aromatic carbon, ring carbon of this toluene to the carboxylic acid C, then we can say it is a carboxylic acid of toluene. So therefore I can call it as orthotolic acid, or I can also say it as, since it is a numbered substitution, it is called as, we will go for the nomenclature later. Let us just see the name, 2-methyl benzoic acid. So here also you can see that COOH group is directly attached to the ring carbon, where the ring is aromatic in nature. And we all know benzene is aromatic. How do we decide the aromaticity? It is based on the Huckel's rule. Yeah. And next, not only CH3, we can have any derivative such as OH. And here also, this is without COOH, we say it is a phenol. And when this phenol is attached to a COOH through the ring carbon of benzene and the COOHC, then we can say that it is an example of aromatic carboxylic acid. And the famous name is salicylic acid. And it is very, very important in organic chemistry, especially for carboxylic acid. And since It is at the second position to the carboxylic acid. It is given as 2-hydroxybenzoic acid. Here methyl is second to the carboxylic acid, therefore it is 2-methyl benzoic acid and it is benzoic acid. So these are the examples of aromatic carboxylic acid. So finally we say that aromatic carboxylic acids are those carboxylic acids which contain COOH, where the C of COOH is directly bonded to the ring carbon of an aromatic ring. Okay, and aromatic rings are examples benzene and pyridine. Of course, for simplicity we have taken mainly benzene type of molecule. And next classification, which is aromatic carboxylic acid. Remember, we are in the classification based on the R group, that is hydrocarbon part. So first one is aromatic, then this is aliphatic carboxylic acid. So what are aliphatic carboxylic acid? They contain open chains hydrocarbons. That means they are not ring structures. Even though they are ring, they are not aromatic. Okay, so they contain open chain. For simplicity, we will take that they are open chain hydrocarbons. And yeah, since open chain hydrocarbons, they have two types. One is saturation, the other one is unsaturation. Let us see what is saturation and unsaturation just within a while. So they are further classified into two types. That means aliphatic carboxylic acids are further classified into two types based on the unsaturation. If there is no unsaturation in the open chain hydrocarbon, then it is called as a saturated hydrocarbon, and therefore it is called as a saturated carboxylic acid. So here is an example. The COOH is attached to just hydrogen. The carbon of carboxylic acid is attached to hydrogen. So it is neither a aromatic compound or nor something complex. It is very simple. It is hydrogen. The preliminary and the most primary carboxylic acid that we can think of when we just remember the name carboxylic acid. And yeah, R can be H also. It need not be carbon or any other carbon derivative. It could be H also. So this is the main beauty of this formic acid. It stands very different from the properties of all other carboxylic acid, being it is bonded to the hydrogen, not to the carbon. So it is the special example. And then next, the COOH is bonded to CH3. So CH. There are 3 hydrogens around this carbon, and you can see the valency around carbon 1, 2, 3, 4 is satisfied completely and also with sigma bonds. That means there is no pi bond, that means no unsaturation here. Therefore, you can say it is a saturated carboxylic acid. That means a saturated carboxylic acid must contain only sigma bonds in the hydrocarbon part, not in this functional group, because functional group anyway it contains carbonyl group where C double bond O is present, which contains unsaturation. Since we are discussing the classification based on the R group, we should look at the unsaturation in R group. So of course it is an open chain structure and without any unsaturation. Therefore it is taken as saturated carboxylic acid, and it is famously called as acetic acid. And in short, we can write, since I have to depict the bonds as sigma around carbon and its completing of this valency with only sigma bonds, I have depicted the skeletal structure. And coming to the shortcut, you can just write formula wise CH3COOH, CH3COOH. So, and next example is CH3CH2COOH, which is propanoic acid. So if you go for the extension of this skeletal structure of this propanoic acid, you can see. So C is bonded to 3 hydrogens, and again it is bonded to a CH2 group, which is CH2, and this one is bonded to our main functional group of carboxylic acid. So here in the skeletal structure we can clearly see that all the bonds are only sigma bonds in this hydrocarbon part. So therefore it is also an example for this saturated carboxylic acid. And next is 2-methyl propanoic acid. It is an extension of this propanoic acid where I have chosen the branching so that the hydrogen of one of the carbons in the hydrocarbon group is substituted with CH3 methyl group. So here also you can see that the CH3 group, we know that it doesn't contain any unsaturation because CH3, the moment I say it is CH3, that means it already has 3 sigma bonds, and then the fourth bond is satisfied by the CC sigma bond. Therefore it is completely saturated, and the remaining, as we have seen in the earlier example, are also saturated. Therefore this is also an example for saturated carboxylic acid. Since we have a substitution at this hydrogen with methyl group, we just add 2-methyl to this name. So it is called as 2-methyl propanoic acid. And a simple formulative representation is CH3CH, CH3COOH. Okay. So this is regarding this saturated hydrocarbon chain. Next, the second type of aliphatic carboxylic acid, which is unsaturation. What if the open chain structure, aliphatic structure, contains a pi bond or a double bond or triple bond? So if we find only one pi bond based on one sigma bond, then we call it as a double bond. If there are 2 pi bonds around the base of one single sigma bond, then it is a triple bond. And if there are 2 pi bonds based on 2 sigma bonds, what does it mean? Does it mean it's a triple bond? No, it doesn't mean a triple bond, because I am saying 2 pi bonds based on 2 sigma bonds. That means one pi bond based on one sigma and the other pi bond based on the other sigma. Therefore, it will be a double bond. Whatever it may be, whatever the double bond or triple bond, if you find the unsaturation, at least one pi bond in this hydrocarbon chain, then it is considered as an unsaturated carboxylic acid. If you see the presence of unsaturation in the hydrocarbon chain, it is considered as unsaturated carboxylic acid. So if you look at the examples here, we can see that this is CH2. This is a simpler skeletal representation without any atoms. So you can just see the similar representation here. CH2, double bond, CH, CH and COOH. So you can clearly see that there is a double bond here. This is famously called as acrylic acid. If you come for this IUPAC naming, it is prop-2-enoic acid. How does this name come? We will see in the next one, which is nomenclature. And then we will go for this next example where we have an extension of this. For simplicity, I have taken extension. So if the hydrocarbon chain is like this, it is CH3CH double bond CH. This is the hydrocarbon chain. We should not consider this. And so if you look at this hydrocarbon chain, it also contains one pi bond, which is a double bond. So therefore, it is also an example for this unsaturated carboxylic acid. And the name is crotonic acid, and IUPAC name is but-2-enoic acid. Then next type of example is, here you can see a sigma bond is associated with 2 pi bonds. So I can say it as a triple bond now. So therefore triple bond maybe, but it has unsaturation. Therefore it comes under unsaturated carboxylic acid. So if R group containing triple bond or double bond, it is an example for this one. So what if we have this double bond in benzene? Yeah, we already classified that benzene into aromatic. Therefore, we need not again go, or we need not include that in this unsaturation. We are discussing the unsaturation in hydrocarbon part where the hydrocarbon is an aliphatic chain. Okay. So already, since we have completed the aromatic part, we need not worry about benzene ring type where it includes unsaturation. So this is propiolic acid, it is called as, and then the classification, the second type of, till now we have seen the classification based on the hydrocarbon chain. Now the second type of classification is based on the number of COOH groups. So here the number of COOH groups. So what if the COOH groups are more than one? So the functional groups can be n number. It could be 1 or it could be 2 or it could be any number. So based on the number of functional groups, which is a carboxylic acid here in our topic, so the molecule can be classified as monocarboxylic acid first and dicarboxylic and further. So let us see how monocarboxylic acid look like. Here the main interesting thing is the R group can be anything. We are mainly concentrating on the number of COOH groups, not that what is the type of hydrocarbon. Since the classification of hydrocarbon is already one type, it is over. Since we are more focused on the number of COOH groups, we can have any type of R group attached to the COOH. It could be aromatic, aliphatic, saturated, unsaturated, hetero, whatever it may be. So it can have any type of R, but the focus goes on the number of COOH groups present in this. So therefore, if the molecule contains only one carboxylic acid functional group, then it is called as mono. Mono means single. So single, I can say one. So if the molecule contains one carboxylic acid or single carboxylic acid group, COOH group, then such molecules are considered as monocarboxylic acid. And the interesting part is that they are also called as monobasic. Why it is called monobasic when we are discussing the acidic character or carboxylic acid? Because the acids are characterized by basicity, which is given by the number of H plus ions they can produce or the number of OH groups it can replace. Then where we find the OH groups? We find the OH groups in bases. That means since this acid can replace one base, therefore it is called as monobasic. Or I can say it has one replaceable acidic proton. So we all know that H plus from the acid, which is a proton, it combines with the OH minus from base to give a neutral water molecule. So the base contains OH. Since one base can be neutralized with this acid, which can give one H plus, these are also called as monobasic acids. So remember, they are called as monobasic and of course monocarboxylic. The basicity doesn't mean that it is base. It satisfies the base through this acidic protons in the molecule. So that's why the acidic character is based on the basicity. Yeah, here is the example. So in all these examples, you can find one COOH group, one COOH group, one COOH. Here I have given the examples of benzoic acid. Remember, we had this example in aromatic and then acetic acid. This was an example in aliphatic saturated carboxylic acids. And then we have an example of prop-2-enoic acid. This is an example that we had in unsaturated aliphatic carboxylic acids. So we are not bothered about the type of R group here. We are just bothered about the number of COOH groups. So in all these three examples, we have only one type of one functional group, one COOH. And all these COOH are attached to a hydrocarbon chain. It could be aromatic, aliphatic, saturated or unsaturated. But the commonality between all these three is that they have only one COOH group. That's why they are categorized as monocarboxylic acids. What if we have two carboxylic acids in the molecule? Can we have two COOH groups? Yeah, absolutely. these are some examples. Let's go to the examples after a few seconds after learning the definition of this dicarboxylic acids. Of course, you know by this time the very well the definition of dicarboxylic, where the dicarboxylic acids mean that the molecule contains two COOH functional groups in this molecule. And is there a question that the COOH groups can be on same carbon or on different carbon? It could be. It could be on same carbon or it could be different carbon. Since carbon has a valency of 4, or the 4 can be satisfied by COOH, or it can have one COOH, or it can have two COOH, like so. But we will see such type of examples here. You can see here. This is phthalic acid and it is malonic, and this is maleic. So phthalic acid, it is having a aromatic type of hydrocarbon where it has two COOH groups in this molecule attached to this benzene ring carbons. So since it has two COOH groups, it is named as a, or it is categorized as a dicarboxylic acid. And then next example is malonic acid. So here you can see that single carbon is having COOH on one side and COOH on other side. That means the COOH groups are present on the same carbon, where in the previous example we had COOH groups on different carbon. So either COOH with two carbons or the COOH on the same carbon, we are not bothered about it. We are just bothered about the number of COOH groups, not the place of COOH they are bonded to. So since we are bothered about only the number, this is also an example of dicarboxylic acid, and the name of this is malonic. And if you observe, the hydrocarbon chain is aromatic here, and here the hydrocarbon chain, can you see any unsaturation in this hydrocarbon? This is unsaturation, but it is in the functional group part. But here it is just CH2. That means this is containing only sigma bonds, not the pi bonds. Therefore, it is also an example of this dicarboxylic acid. And next example is maleic acid. There is a similarity in sounding for malonic and maleic, but there is a lot of difference in the structure for this malonic and maleic. Of course, both are examples for dicarboxylic acid, but the main thing lies in this hydrocarbon part. So the malonic consists of this CH2, and whereas maleic consists of CH double bond CH. So here also COOH, two COOH groups are distributed over two carbons, where the two carbons of the hydrocarbon are having unsaturation. So as I said earlier, we just need to count the number of COOH. Here we have 2 COOH, 2 COOH, 2 COOH. So all these examples come under dicarboxylic acid, irrespective of the nature of hydrocarbon group to which they are bonded to, or the place of hydrocarbon to which they are bonded in number. Whether they are bonded to same carbon or different carbon, it is not a matter when we are going for the classification under this dicarboxylic acid. And next is tricarboxylic acid. So tricarboxylic acids, by this time we will be very clear if it contains only one COOH mono, two COOH di. Of course, if it contains three COOH group, then it is called as a tricarboxylic acid. And the other name for this is tribasic acids, because each COOH will release one proton, which is an acidic proton, and these acidic protons will definitely react with the OH minus from one base. So therefore it can satisfy three bases. That means therefore it is called as a tribasic, whereas dicarboxylic is called as a dibasic, because it can produce only two H plus ions which can satisfy the two OH minus from two bases. So remember, mono is called as monobasic, dicarboxylic acid dibasic, tricarboxylic acid tribasic. It explains the acidic character in terms of basicity. Yeah. Then the best example and the famous example for tricarboxylic acid. Can you imagine 3 COOH in the same molecule? Yes. Of course, you have an additional functional group OH. So it doesn't bother because we are mainly looking, or it is mainly focused to have the COOH groups count. So here you can clearly see there are 3 COOH groups, 1, 2 and 3. So 3 COOH groups are present here. Therefore, we say that it is a tricarboxylic acid. And then, so let us summarize today's class completely. So first of all, we have seen the generic formula of carboxylic acids, where it is represented by RCOOH, and we have also seen that it is a combination of two functional groups. One is carbonyl, the other one is hydroxyl, and we have also seen that it is a combination of the two names carb and oxalic from hydroxyl and from carbonyl. Therefore, it is named as a carboxylic. And we have gone for the importance of these carboxylic acids, and then we have seen the classification of carboxylic acids. And classification is based on two types. One is based on the R part, the other one is based on the COH part. R part, which is the hydrocarbon part, if based on the nature of the hydrocarbon part, if it is aromatic, then it is called as an aromatic carboxylic acid. If the hydrocarbon chain is an aliphatic, then it is an aliphatic carboxylic acid. And since aliphatic contains two types of hydrocarbons, one is with saturation and one is with unsaturation, we have further classification of aliphatic carboxylic acids as saturated carboxylic and unsaturated carboxylic acid. And next, based on this, the number of COH groups. So therefore, COH groups, based on this, we have three types. One is monocarboxylic, dicarboxylic and tricarboxylic. So in this today's class, we have seen till classification. So definitely in the next class, we will go for this IUPAC nomenclature of these carboxylic acids. Therefore, today let me conclude this with classification, and you are welcome to have post any questions based on this today's class, and you can post your questions in the comment section. I will give you reply. And thanks for watching this, and finally wait for tomorrow's class to have this IUPAC nomenclature, where we will have more number of examples with more details. So thank you so much for listening. And yeah, finally, this is Shravani, assistant professor in chemistry, working at Tara Government College, Sangareddy. And welcome to the video classes. Thanks for watching. Kindly do subscribe and like the channel if you like it. Thank you. Have a nice day.